All right. Episode 11.
Epic episode 11.
Yeah. So, for those of you who are new, we are doing this weekly live stream on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we share pretty much the progress on our project. Robby, it's a robotics framework that Lee and I have been working on, I could say now for years.
Yes, as scary as that is.
And we're finally in beta, so we want to share the progress that weekly progress as we hit certain milestones. So yeah, here we are, episode 11. um, so I'll let Lee go ahead and share any updates that he might have regarding the project.
This week was mostly devoted to working on getting the robotic arm working on our Antwerp robot. Just I want to get videos of it that we can put up on the website just to show one more thing that we're controlling with the framework. Uh, and tonight for our little demo section, I'll show some of the work I've done on that. It's kind of fun. Other than that, worked on the product deck this weekend. For when you're doing this and trying to get working with the accelerator company, they want us to have what they call a pitch deck, which is a PowerPoint that is essentially what we're going to show to investors to try and sell them on investing in the company. And your product deck is a similar thing. It's a PowerPoint presentation, but it is more about describing the product than the company. So that's the other thing I worked on this weekend. So that's kind of the weekly update on the company and on the
Yeah, so
project.
on my end, I guess the only thing I can say, not much. Like I mentioned right before we went live, I spent some time working on finding some articles that I found interesting for us to talk about a bit here before we get into the demo section. Maybe we can do a couple of them before, and then the rest of them we can do it after. The other update I have is that I created a Google form for users to start submitting, um, feedback, either questions or anything like that. But I'm not liking it too much because you have to sign in with a Google account for you to be able to reach the form. And I think that, Google is pretty much spread out in everywhere, but I think it's going to be a hassle for some people to sign up, log
Yeah,
in
that
with Google.
sucks.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that I'll probably spend some time and just create a form on our website and have people, um, just enter or give us feedback or submit questions there. So I'll make time to work on that. Other than that, well, we decided on the logo. At least the first phase
All
of the
right.
logo, we picked that. We're kind of waiting for our graphic designer to get back to us on hopefully the final product or very close to it. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited about that. Um,
Yeah, I can't wait to change it everywhere.
yeah. And I don't know. I think you mentioned. I don't know if you mentioned on the last episode. I think you mentioned one of the users we got, right? One of the registrations. I think
Right,
you did
yeah.
mention it. Yeah. So yeah. So you did mention it.
Yeah, haven't heard back from him now since the last time I exchanged emails with him. So he was in the process of trying to find a Windows computer to use, or else I have to get a Macintosh computer and see if I can get us going on a Mac.
Okay. So I think that's that on my end. I don't think I have anything else. I guess we can get into the articles that I found,
Yeah.
and let's see. I want to hear what you think about it, and maybe the audience as well. So I didn't know about this. I guess it's something that Apple announced in 2021 that they were working on this. Um, hey, Michael. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Michael from Mars.
So this is I guess this is in one of the things that Apple is behind on because Azure DevOps has had this for a while, right? I remember that we used to use something like this. So I guess here what they're doing is that it's a platform where you can test um, your applications. So you don't necessarily have to test them on your local machines. You can use their computing power to do so, but as anything else is going to cost you. I think I saw some promo where they were charging, I believe, oh, here we go, 25 hours of computing power for $15 a month, which 25 hours is, well, I guess it depends on the size of your application and what you're building. You
Yeah,
could
and how many people
eat
are
through
hitting
it.
it?
Yeah, so I guess it depends on how big your system or platform is and how many automated tests you have that are running against it. So that could run up your bill pretty fast.
Yeah, and if you had a team of 10 people doing it that all wanted to be hitting it at the same time,
Yeah, and
you
then
could run into the hours real quick.
yeah, and then imagine like if you have a bigger team and you have automated testing that happens when you deploy, and then if you have a CI/CD pipeline that deploys, every time you merge a PR, you're gonna run through this.
Yeah, every time anybody merges a PR.
Yeah,
Well, pretty good revenue stream for Apple there, and they need some revenue streams.
exactly. They don't make enough money, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's something that I wanted to bring up. I'm not sure if this means that they have a cloud IDE as well. I think that would be interesting, and I don't think I found anything regarding that. But
Interesting.
I think it's mostly for testing. But it would be interesting if you have an environment where you can go and test, and that's something that Microsoft did do. I know that in one of the last virtual conferences they announced that they had that where you have a virtual environment. So you don't have to, like we used to do at our previous job, Lee, have an environment where you can, have access to everything you need. Now it's all virtual. So now, companies can, pay for this service and they'll provide your developers with ready to go development environments, which it was about time, in my opinion, for Microsoft to come up with something like that. Especially since, as Michael mentioned it earlier in the week, that it's now like 40 plus gigs to install Visual Studio on your machine. So,
Yes. Can you say bloatware?
yeah. So let's see. This is another interesting article. Let me see if hang on. I have to stop sharing this and share a new tab. So one sec, bear with me.
I'll try and bear it.
So the yearly survey that Stack Overflow does. The results are out, and
Uh-huh.
one of the things that stood out for me was that React is the number one JavaScript framework.
Who says
So
programmers
that
don't have taste? I love
so I
React.
think these are the languages. Let me find that. I know that was in another article I found, but it took me here. So I guess these are I guess
These
the
look like the
biggest languages that
languages
are being
here.
used. Yeah. So it seems like
Interesting.
JavaScript is the most popular one besides HTML and CSS, I guess.
Yeah, it's right up there. SQL's big. Look at Python, man. Python's up in the top 5, which C Sharp and C++ are not.
Yeah.
Teaching a Linux how-to in an hour. Oh, interesting.
All right. Are you
If I had
teaching
any
that
sense,
online?
I'd go get in on that.
Yeah, is it a public he says PHP for life. Well, PHP is one of the little ones on this chart.
Yeah, it's a little itty bitty one.
But I have a hunch that a lot of, and I think from the previous one, previous year to this year, I've seen TypeScript growing, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have a
look at
hunch
that.
that
Yeah.
it's going to take over JavaScript. Although it's TypeScript really a language? I don't know. Can we consider it a language? I guess it
It's
is,
all
huh?
JavaScript, isn't it? Isn't it just
Yeah,
JavaScript with types?
yeah,
And
pretty
I'm sure
much.
it's based on JavaScript. Node is
Yeah,
interesting, which is also JavaScript, but it's really seems to be coming on there.
yeah. Um, well, I guess this is it. Let's see. Okay, here's a full
Where's the
survey here, so
framework one? Do
maybe
you have
we
the
can.
framework one?
Here,
I'm
I'm
curious
going to
about
the
that.
full survey. Yeah, so I'm going to the full survey now. So hopefully we can see everything here. Okay, let's see.
I'm curious to see if Ember even makes the list now.
Okay, so the country with the most responses is the U.S. Okay,
Well, that's
followed by
not too
India
shocking.
and Germany.
I'm surprised
Okay,
Russia's
let's
not
see.
higher on the list.
Experience.
Maybe they took Russia off of the list since they're in the doghouse with the rest of the
Yeah,
world now.
yeah. So writing the first line of code. Okay, so most of the responses wrote their first line of code from 11 to 17 years old. Wow.
Wow. Wow. And 14%
And
between 5 and 10 years old. Wow. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm getting to retirement age because I'm going to have started way too late. I was 21 when I first, or 22 when I first started.
okay, this is interesting too. Like, what's the preferred way of learning how to code? Videos and blogs. Okay,
Interesting.
59%. 59%.
53% still school.
Okay.
That's actually a little bit surprising to me, but I guess only because I didn't really learn at school.
Yeah, certifications. Physical books is still high.
Yeah, look
Wow,
at that. 50%.
that is higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that used to be, would have been way up there. And it's still pretty far up there, man. I guess, maybe other places, other countries or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe their bandwidth is not as as good
There,
as it is here.
something.
Maybe and
Because I don't know anybody that does books much anymore. I mean, maybe electronic book, ebooks on the web, PDFs.
yeah. Let's see. Years coding. 5 to 9 years. 29%. More
I
than
guess
50
I
years
would.
coding. There are people.
Boy, there's barely been coding. That's not actually true. It's been around more than 50 years. But I would be, let's see here, 79. So I would be the second from the bottom. I think I just make it 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's spooky to get old. I think that's right. 70, yeah. No.
And and it's crazy
40,
that
I would have
even
been the third from the bottom, 40 to 44 years.
Michael says that he was 11 when he started.
11, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, when I was 11, mainframes was all you could have been programming. Lisp invented in 1954, and that was one of the really early ones, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of the early ones that wasn't machine language or assembly language.
Years coding professionally. Okay.
Yeah, that one I don't have as much.
So getting paid to code.
That would have started for me in 1987. So 35 years for me. I'm getting pretty far down there.
So for me, it's I would say 20 because freelancing counts, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you're getting paid, that would fit within my criteria.
Yeah, so I'm like in the 20 to 24 years.
It's scary. Lisp is now the language for robotics. Really? I didn't run into that. What's this? What's the question behind this one?
This one is
Oh, by
years of
developer
professional
type.
coding experience, developer type.
Interesting.
Okay, so then I guess once you hit like a certain level or a certain number of years, you kind of climb that ladder.
I guess so. Technically speaking, we're C-suite now. But then we're also chief bottle washers and the janitors.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Developer roles. A lot of full stack. That doesn't surprise me. A lot of people want to be full stack.
That's what I wouldn't imagine being anything else. Just because it gives you so much more flexibility when you go looking for a job.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've ever had a job where you didn't end up being full stack on some level. At some point you're going to go do some front end, even if you're a back end guy, or
Yeah. At
vice
some point you
versa.
become a blocker. Yeah, if you don't know, or I guess just not wasted, but idle bandwidth, right? If you don't know both sides.
Yeah, copycats. Hey, let's hear it for full stacks. You gotta be. It's I want to be able to go top to bottom.
Yeah, so that is all respondents. Let me see if I can do I get different numbers? Oh, slightly different, but very similar if I just click the US.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, hardly different at all.
So it's pretty much the same all over the world. Everybody wants to be full stack or is full stack who works
Well,
professionally, I
even if
guess.
you're a designer or a architect or whatever you want to call it, you're probably a full stack programmer also.
Hmm.
That's probably how you became an architect or a designer.
Okay, so
Oh, here we
here
go.
the majority is either a bachelor's or a master's.
Yeah, that would not be me. I would
Or
be
me.
pretty much that second one from the top.
I think I would be the third one just because I took some CS classes in a junior college. I guess that counts.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. I took some classes. Never took a CS class, although I did. I went to a trade school at one point called Computer Learning Center in San Francisco. It was a 6 month program.
Michael has a master's.
Masters. Yeah, you seem like a college educated guy. If you worked in Xerox Park, I'm guessing you had a degree,
Yeah.
or at Mars. Either way, I'm guessing they look for people with graduate degrees.
Yeah, so 75% of professional um, have either a bachelor's or a master's.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's so hard to get started without them. It was easier
Yeah.
when I got started, well, especially for PC jobs because there was so few PC jobs. They were just starting to happen, and they weren't really teaching it in schools yet. So it wasn't nearly as big a factor as long as you could program the PCs.
Professional developers. So are we're getting too old to be professional developers? See,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like for me.
0.35% my age range. No, no, I'm that bottom one there. 0.33. Prefer not to say, but if you look at me, it's pretty flippin' obvious.
Wow. Yeah, I'm old. I'm on the 35 to 44 for one and a
Oh
half
man,
years.
you're a young pup.
But I
You're
want,
a
I
pup.
wonder if what would happen. I wish I could compare this to previous years and see how things have shifted since then. Because I would imagine that we'll probably see more people maybe coming into this career. I don't know. I guess it could go either way, right?
Yeah, it is interesting. I've always wondered if it was going to keep on, and it seems to keep on keeping on for the 30 years I've been at it, or 30 plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta right now. I wouldn't, if I was a kid in school and trying to decide what to study and was really worried about getting into something where you could get a job. It's hard to imagine not doing this for me. It's always been so easy to get a job.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of knew that this is kind of lopsided gender,
Whoa.
but not. I didn't think it was
Man,
that
I
bad.
didn't know that much. Wow.
Let's see. Professional
Wow.
developers,
91% are men. Holy cow. You think
professionals.
about our
That's
last job there, we had quite a few women there. That's,
yeah.
I didn't realize we
It
were doing
wasn't.
that good.
Yeah, it wasn't definitely that mix at all.
Yeah,
It
I'll bet
was
it
it
was
was
more
more
like 70%.
balanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is this?
Gender minorities by country. What does that even mean?
I'm not sure. Okay, so everything other than men, I guess.
Oh, okay. Okay. And it's 9% in America. Oh, everything other
Hmm.
than men. I see. So
Yeah,
that's men and trans people and whatever else.
yeah. Okay, so this again LGBTQ.
Okay.
So almost everybody, 95%, almost 96% identify either male or female.
Okay. Right. Right. Well, that pretty much fits our last job. The thing about
Yeah,
this is there's so many people who don't feel comfortable in saying what they really are. And understandably so. There's still a fair amount of stigma out there about that. So,
Yeah, and then I think the rather not say option, it's probably the worst one, right? It's you kind of like
Yeah,
I'm not uh, right. It's like I don't identify as male or female, but I don't feel comfortable saying what it is. So I feel that maybe some people feel, I guess, I don't know, pressure to pick male or female because they don't feel like they want to disclose it.
yeah, yeah. And the one person we had at our last job who came out as trans, look how long it took them to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'd been there for 3 or 4 years before they finally came out and let everybody know.
Hmm. Okay, so not a lot of Latinos here.
Oh yeah, well, boy, well,
7%.
they're not living in Modesto, are they?
I think I
Because we
think
have
the
way more
numbers,
than 7%.
yeah, the numbers don't change significantly, right, from professional to all respondents. I think they in all the different categories that we've gone through, they're pretty much the same.
But then if it's a Stack Overflow's audience, I'll bet the percentage of those who are developers is real high.
Yeah.
I am blind. My brother was legally blind and programmed for lots of years.
Mhm.
But it was always, especially towards the end, his vision got worse as he got older, and towards the end, he was really struggling with it.
Wow. So there's a significant number of people with mental health issues, huh?
Yeah, anxiety and depression right up there at the top.
Yeah. All right. So I want to see most popular technologies. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what we
Most
want. I
loved
want to
and
see the frameworks. Most loved, dreaded, and wanted. Okay, here we
okay. So
go.
this one, let's see. JavaScript,
Yeah, that's
HTML,
pretty much that same.
CSS. Same thing as we saw, right? It was just a different chart.
Yeah, boy, I'm really surprised how high up Python is on that list. I had no idea. I knew it was popular, and I like the language. It's a cool language.
Okay, so look at this. So here we do see a change. If we go to professional developers, SQL moves up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, see, so let me switch back to all
Oh yeah,
respondents.
yeah. Look at that.
So Python
Interesting.
Python is in third for non-professionals,
Yeah, yeah.
and TypeScript is down lower. Like what was that, seventh place? But if we go
Yeah, I
to
think so.
professionals, things shift a bit.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, it pops up to fifth. It
Yeah.
goes ahead of Node and Java.
And look at sequels, 50%.
C Sharp's a little stronger with the professionals too. It was 27, I think, in the all respondents.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
29.
so not much, but a little different.
Michael identifies as a hologram, he says.
Yeah, I like that. Could be a convenient way to go through life too. Sorry, I think I'm going to disappear
Where's
now.
where's PHP on this list? Oh, here we go. 22%.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So we still haven't found frameworks.
Yeah. So databases, web frameworks.
There we
Here
go.
we
That's what
go.
we want. Okay,
jQuery
look at
that
that
high.
React. Yay. And flat jQuery is second place.
But I bet that if we switch to professional, jQuery is going to move down a lot.
Yeah,
I
I'll bet that's
think.
right. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No,
I'm interested to
no.
see. Internationally, yeah, because I think internationally it gets used quite a bit still. I did a lot of stuff with straight jQuery in the long time
Let's
ago.
see.
Boy, Angular
Express
really
Angular
is
here.
down there. Well, you got Angular
Yeah.
and then you
So
got Angular JS. What's that about?
Angular
Aren't they
JS,
the
I
same
believe,
thing?
was the no Angular JS was the first version. If I'm
Oh, is that
thinking
right? So they
correctly
still
here.
call
Yeah.
that Angular JS and it's just Angular if you do the later stuff now?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay,
think that's I
okay.
think that's what it is. So I guess under professional, we see now that professionals prefer Angular, which makes sense,
Yeah,
right? I guess
Angular's
it's solid.
sweet.
Yeah.
If you're doing high functionality stuff, Angular's good. If you're
And
doing a
look
scientific
at
application or
.NET
uh-huh.
Core is there, fifth place. That's
Oh
good.
yeah, look at that. Give Microsoft its due. Is I don't it's scroll down and we haven't is Ember even on the list?
I hope not. No. It's probably on the
It
most
is
dreaded
not. It is not. Yeah, the most dreaded, yes. So Express, that's just Node,
other
right? That's the Node
frameworks.
framework, right?
It's the framework you use to do like web, HTTP and CSS.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like in comparison to what MVC would be like. Not necessarily a full fledged framework. It's just like more like I guess just serving HTML and CSS.
Oh, okay. Wow, I can't believe Ember is not even on the list. Look at that. That's funny.
Look at
Ha.
Docker. Docker Kubernetes is moving up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some strong stuff.
Terraform. I've heard about Terraform as well.
Yeah, I've heard the name. I don't even know what it is.
It's for does something similar to what Kubernetes does,
Mm.
orchestrating. Okay, this is a good one. IDE. Look at that. The both
Code.
Visual Studios at the top.
Wow. Wow. Code is that much farther up than Visual Studio. And nope. Oh,
Yeah, there
Notepad
we
plus
go.
plus. Interesting.
So Michael is
More like
talking about
Apache would be.
Express. It's more like Apache would be, like a web
Okay.
server, I
Okay.
would imagine.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's what they used to deploy when I was playing with Node. That's what we were deployed with was Express, or at least one thing I did we used Express. I think I don't know. That was years ago, and I'm getting old, half senile.
Android Studio, IntelliJ, Vim. There you go, Michael. There's Vim. Oh, but that's not the one you use, right? You said you use NeoVim.
Yeah, flavor of Vim.
Yeah. And a lot of people at work have been talking about Writer. Even before I left, in my previous job, one of the developers in my team was saying that, oh yeah, you should try Writer. And I tried it, and I just couldn't. This is the Writer is one of the what is it called? JetBrains. It's a JetBrains.
Oh, right.
The
I've seen that advertised. Yeah, yeah. The guys
yeah
that
the
do C sharper or
yeah
resharper right now.
ReSharper. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I just could not get used to that interface. And everybody swears, like there's like five six developers at my current job who swear by it, but it's like
interesting.
no.
And they're doing
I'm
C
gonna
sharp with it then, right? Or
yeah,
they're using it
yeah.
for C sharp?
Writer
Interesting.
Writer is that I can sort of like the C sharp IDE. I
Wow.
can't. I just was not able to get used to it.
Takes a lot of cojones to write a C sharp IDE up against Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio.
Yeah.
That's like us trying to go up against
Yeah.
Ross with our product.
Yep. There we
So
go.
should we look at
Well,
ARM stuff?
Windows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that because we can keep going. I'm interested before we switch gears. I want to see what is the most dreaded
Oh yeah.
framework.
Okay. I'd buy that. Yeah, I'm interested in the dreaded. Well, this is
Let's
the dreaded
see.
stuff now.
No, I'm backing out because I remember there was a few links where I could click. Let me see. Come on.
Geez, you could have COBOL on the list. Did you ever do COBOL?
No.
I don't. Actually, there's still COBOL being done for in big companies. Like when I worked at Wells Fargo, there was COBOL programmers there for the mainframe.
Really?
Yeah, they call their mainframe Hugo. And it was all still
Even
COBOL.
even Michael likes writer.
Okay. I'm going to have to go look at it.
Here we go. Most loved and dreaded.
Here we go. Loved, dreaded, and wanted.
So I guess here.
Loved
So
versus dreaded.
so people want
Python,
TypeScript.
JavaScript.
Yeah. So I guess people might be working or developers might be working on another or with another language
And wish
and
they worked
Python.
on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Python. Everybody wants Python.
Yeah, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and get in there and write some. It's a cool language. There's no question. So this
Okay,
is
so
love
Rust.
versus dreaded.
Yeah, so I think Michael mentioned Rust as well, and I've heard it before that the people who actually get to use Rust, they love it for some
Okay.
reason, and I don't know yet because I've never used it, but
Yeah, I've only heard of it. I don't even know what it is.
yeah, and this makes a lot of sense. TypeScript. I think once you actually start using it, get familiar with it, it saves so much time over just regular JavaScript, which
Yeah, I
makes
can see that.
it's kind of like you have JavaScript, which is so flexible, but then you're missing the stuff, some of the stuff that we're used to with, every day with C Sharp, but you
Yeah.
get it with TypeScript.
Yeah. Yeah.
So makes perfect sense there.
Yeah. I've always resisted it just because what I liked about JavaScript was it was so wide open. You could do
Yeah.
anything with it. But that can be troublesome and cumbersome sometimes too.
Yeah.
C++, where's it on here?
49, almost. I think it's more hated than
Oh, that
loved.
is it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with C++. It's just you got to think about it a little more. When you start getting into those pointers to pointers to pointers stuff, it can get interesting.
Let's see which one. COBOL. We just mentioned it. 84.
Wow, is that
84
MATLAB? Look
dreaded.
at MATLAB there, 78%. And COBOL, yeah, 84%. The most dreaded language. Okay. Have you ever seen COBOL?
Mm-mm.
It was made to be like writing English. So you write in sentences and paragraphs. It's it's really wordy and cumbersome. I mean, it was one of the first friendly languages. Came out, I think, around the same time as what was the one they did scientific stuff with at the time? Oh, I can't even think of it now. But yeah, COBOL was clunky. Pointers cubed. Yeah, that's C++.
Here we go. Databases. Love versus dreaded.
Ah, this should be interesting.
Redis is the most loved one.
Wow.
SQL Server is almost 50-50.
Well, everybody loves to hate Microsoft, you know.
Yeah.
IBM DB2. My God, DB2 is still around. Wow. That's been around since the 80s.
Yeah. And what do people want? Let's see. Processors and Mongo, but the same. MongoDB. But see, but
Those
MongoDB is
document
not,
databases.
yeah, but it's not for everything though. That's the,
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it for what it does, certainly it's the best, I would think, or the ones like it and the ones like it.
yeah.
But God help you if you're going to write like a banking application or something with it.
Wow. The cloud providers are pretty much, other than AWS.
Real even there. Look at that. That's interesting stuff. And AWS doesn't have that much of an edge on them. Has some.
No. What do developers want? Oh, they want AWS. Wow.
Interesting stuff.
Okay, frameworks, here we go. Are we finally going to see our good friend Ember?
Are we going to get Ember on this list?
I do remember seeing this Svelte. Whoever uses it, they really like it, but I guess React is still number one as the most loved. I don't know how
Well,
they
look at
send it.
no, Core is above React.
Mm-hmm.
Core and what's that one above? I can't read what that one above
It's
Core is.
Svelte
No, right. Well, the one right above
above.
Core. Oh,
Yeah,
above. I'm
Svelte.
sorry, below Core. Below Core.
Oh, Fast API. I've
Oh,
never
okay.
heard
I've
of
heard
it.
that. I've
How
heard
how
of
you
it, but
have?
that's about all.
Okay.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. Ember does not even make the list now. So back to 4 or 5 years ago when we were starting that project, and I told George, man, I'd really like to not do Ember. I think I'm vindicated.
Yeah. The Angular is, at least it's on the list, but it's not liked.
Wow.
Well, this
Oh,
is
it's
Angular
Angular
JS.
JS.
We
Yeah,
gotta we
yeah, yeah.
gotta clarify because there's a difference.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about Angular 1, sure,
Yeah.
especially when I can have real Angular.
Okay, so what do developers want? Like, here we go. Oh, there you go.
There you are. Look
They
at
want
React.
React.
See, we're right. That React is good stuff.
Yeah.
I really like the way it fits together and the way they
Lara,
combine the
yeah.
CSS and the JavaScript into a functional language was cool stuff, I thought. Or the HTML and JavaScript, is what I'm thinking of. Sorry. It's been a while since I looked at it. I'm using OS Warp as my daily driver now. What's OS Warp?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, this was very interestingly, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, it is interesting stuff. I like that Stack Overflow. It's the best website name pretty much ever for being a name that's appropriate to what its subject matter is. Stack Overflow is about as good as it gets.
Yep, I don't think they could have come up with a better domain.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so the floor is yours, Lee.
Okay, let's look at ARM stuff a little bit. So, you know how long I've been trying to get that ARM under control and doing things I cared about having it do. I still haven't gotten it to pick anything up yet, but I'm getting close to that stage of trying.
Okay.
So over the last week, I finally got it to where I have a lot of control over it, doing quite a few different things with it. So I figured I'd just show some of the stuff I've been doing with it. I've got a little video that's throwaway footage that I was just doing today, practicing and trying to start getting something in video to look at and just to compare with. But before we go there, so this is a program that runs on top of the Robby framework that I use for remote control of our robot. This is a remote MCP. So this sits on the computer it's sitting on right now, actually, my laptop computer, that's separate from the tablet that's on the robot. And it's nice because it makes it easy to be at a separate computer to control the arm. I've actually created 4 different ways to move the arm. I can move this bottom thing here. I can
Lee,
move any of the 6.
You're not
Uh-huh.
sharing yet. If I don't know if you.
Oh, well, because I'm not sharing. Thank you. I'm just rattling on here. How
I
about
thought
if
you
I
were kind of
share?
just, yeah, I thought you were just kind of giving us kind of like a little bit of context before you started sharing.
Yeah, no, not intentionally. Yeah, it'll be a lot more meaningful if I share. Let me know when you can see things.
I see it.
Okay. It's a little more meaningful now. So anyway, instead of imagine, if you will, this is this little program I use to control the robot remotely. And it's a program written on an MCP written on top of Robby framework. It's got all this camera stuff, so I can do our object recognition from here. I can run the camera on the robot, download snapshots from that onto here, and then do object detection with them. But that's not what I'm going to do right now. What I am going to do here, we've got down here in the lower left, these are all the different things I can do with the arm right now. So at this bottom one here, I can move any one of the 6 servos on the arm individually. Just select it and give it a number. The numbers they're Dynamixel servos, so they're kind of strange numbers compared to what they're usually like. But anyway, I can set a number in here and then click the button and it will move just that servo. Then the next one up, I can set values for all 6 of the servos at once and then click the manual arm pose button, and it will move the servos one at a time to move the arm into whatever position I set up here in the 6 boxes. And then the 2 top ones, which the video we're going to look at is mostly using these, although it uses the middle one at least once or twice. The first one is named poses. So I've got 7 of these, and they're just different set poses that I want to put the arm into. Nice thing about these, this is built into this robotics card that runs the arm, is it will move all 6 servos simultaneously, which makes it a kind of a nice smooth movement of the arm. And then this one, I've set it up so I can do servo macros, I'm calling it. So it just makes it so I can string any of the 4 things together in lists and run them all together as a list. So I can move like this bottom one here, ballet sculpture, which is a pretty highfalutin name. It has about 6 or 7 different movements that it does all linked together.
Okay.
So anyhow, let's look at some of that. Here's my little video. Can you see the video all right, Francisco?
Yep. I see it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Like I
let's
said,
see when it starts moving. Let's see if how smoothly it moves.
yeah. Like I said, it's practice right now.
Oh, there you go.
This
I see
this is what I call the home position. This is kind of the default position that the arm will be in anytime the robot's powered up. And this is down into the park position, which here it relaxes all the servos, and I put it here so when I want to shut the robot off, so that it doesn't just fall when the servos relax. And this is the right hand salute, I call it, but which
That's
really all
pretty
this
cool.
is, they're just different positions I can put it in to make it do things.
That's pretty cool.
Let's see here. So this is all just named pose stuff here. So you can see it goes into a pose and stop. I like this though, because you can see how it's moving everything at once.
Yeah,
That's
so
kind
it's
of a
not like
cool feature of that
one
arm.
axis at a time, right? It's like all of them are moving simultaneously.
That's
That's
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Goes back into park. And now it's going to go into the macro, one of the macro things here. So this goes through like half a dozen different movements. So that was all named pose stuff. Now this one is where it's moving them all one at a time.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And there's 2 or 3 of these. You can see I got the camera mounted on it now too. I haven't got the camera hooked up yet, but I've got the camera mounted on it. That's a wide angle depth camera there, the Intel D415 that I'll use for when I want to start actually trying to pick things up and have it be autonomous. So the big thing for me, kind of the milestone here, is I'm finally really have control over the arm now. I can make it do pretty much whatever I want, at least as a remote control thing. The next step, of course, is to make it start being autonomous and deciding on its own what it needs to do.
Wow, so now you just need to get that arm close enough to the fridge.
That's right. And inside the fridge, I got to get it. The hardest part of getting a beer out of the refrigerator is going to be opening the
Opening
refrigerator, I
it,
think.
yeah.
I've got some ideas, but we'll see. But you know all the changes I went through to get to this point. So for me, it's kind of a big victory just to have it doing this stuff.
Yes, it is.
And that's
There's a
pretty much
comment
it.
from Mike.
What did he say? I can't see it now.
JWS. I use JWST when I want to pick things up. I use that JWST. What's that, Michael?
JWST, yeah, I've heard of that. What is it though? Reading something about that earlier today about JWST. The James Webb Space Telescope. Well, that's one thing it is.
I'm thinking, Lee, that we'll probably leave the other two articles to discuss for the next
Oh, okay.
episode because we're
Oh,
we're
yeah, we're getting
already
late here.
yeah we're already hitting we're almost to an hour.
Yeah, it's a lot longer than we usually go.
Yeah,
But that
I
Stack
think it
Overflow
was
stuff was fun, though.
yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And this year they published it late because usually they do it earlier in the year, and they just published it I think last week or the week before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Lee, I think that's probably one of the things you were working towards for a while, right? Like how long? Maybe a couple months trying to get that arm going again.
Oh, more than that. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I went through so many things of things working and not working. I broke one of the pieces at one point and had to stack overflows for noobs. Oh, well, I don't know about that. I use it a fair amount still. Not as much as I
Yeah.
used to, but
I was actually on it yesterday and today. I ran into an issue with entity framework, something that I
yeah.
haven't run into before. Interesting. I feel like I want to make a video about it on my channel just to kind of ease some pain because I was in pain for a couple of days.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. And I couldn't find anything until, Stack Overflow came to the rescue.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times when it saved my bacon over the years.
Oh, yeah. Same for me.
Well, all right.
All right, Lee. I'm looking forward to next week's episode 12.
That's right. Episode 12. A dozen.
Yeah. Well, all right,
All right,
everyone.
then.
Thanks for joining, and we'll catch you on the next episode next week, episode
Yep.
12. No, episode 11. I'm already skipping one.
Thanks for being here with us, Michael. Always
Yeah,
appreciate your
thank you,
presence.
Michael. Thanks for joining. And thanks everyone on Instagram for joining.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.